Hello and welcome at Leobit webinar. I see that we have many people joining already. While we are still waiting a few more people to join, I would like to share a few housekeeping items. First of all, our webinar is being recorded, so no worries regarding the recording. You'll get it from us in a few days. Secondly, the duration of our webinar will be for 60 minutes. We'll have 50 minutes of content from our great speakers, and then we will have Q&A session for 10 minutes. You can write your questions in the chat. You should see chat in the panel in the bottom below. You can write it as during the webinar, as during the Q&A session, but we will come back to them during Q&A session. My name is Irena Troszczynska. I'm Marketing Director at Leobit. I'll be your host today. And today we have two of my amazing colleagues and great speakers. I'm happy to welcome Oleksa Stelmakh, CEO and founder at Leobit, and Yurii Shunkin, our R&D Director. So gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Irena. Hey, everyone. Hope you are able to see my screen. Hope you're able to hear me. It's really a pleasure to have you here. It's great to see our existing customers. Great to see people who are checking for the first time. I'm really excited to present today, and I hope this webinar will be really useful for you, and it will give you some actionable takeaway regarding how to accelerate AI implementation for your companies. So let's get started. First of all, for those who don't know me, my name is Alex. I'm CEO of Leobit. I've been in IT for more than 20 years, started as a developer, architect, project manager, delivery director, finally founder of the company. So our company has grown to 170 people in less than 10 years. And personally, I've been in AI for more than 10 years. And actually, why do we want to present our expertise in AI? Because Leobit, we are really quite strong in AI. We are happy to share that one of our customers became a unicorn due to our AI solution we built back in 2017. We've been working with AI and LLM for more than 8 years, and for the last 2 years we have invested significantly into Gen AI, into AI agents. We have developed more than 20 AI agents for streamlining internal processes in different departments for our company. And also we are helping to implement AI for our customers. Also, for those who haven't heard about Leobit, just half minutes of additional information. We have 4 development center with headquarters in Lviv, Ukraine. The nice picture you see right now. Also a few pictures from our offices and few pictures of our people. And finally, the last marketing slide before we finally move into the AI presentation topic. So what else we do at Leobit? So besides AI, we work with .NET, Cloud, SaaS, Azure, Web, Mobile. So we are a Microsoft solution provider. We have more than 30 clutch recognition certificates. We are ISO ISTQB certified, and I'm also happy to share that we are top 3 companies in Lviv, Ukraine by developers org.ua. And actually, that's the end of the introductory part, and I'm happy to finally move to the main topic of today's webinar, what is AI transformation with Corporate LLM. So definitely, obviously, you all are using Gen AI in some way, and the question is how. So to get a clear picture of AI adoption, we have to assess it against some industry standard frameworks like Gartner AI maturity model. So it defines 5 levels, with 5 being the highest, the transformational level, where AI is deeply embedded into every process across all divisions of your organization. However, that said, most companies we work with are closer to level 2, the experimentation level. And let me switch to the next slide. And to better assess where our customers stand in AI adoption, our R&D team has built our own Leobit AI adoption maturity model, which has slightly different focus. So instead of evaluating entire organization, our model separates standard AI tools and assess AI maturity based on specific activities and tasks. So the idea is that while the particular task can reach near full automation with AI, let's say level 4, the overall organization may still be far from Gartner's transformational level. So our approach provides, I would say, more practical way of how to track AI progress and how to enable step-by-step automation for specific tasks. Let me move forward. So definitely level 1 with some AI usage with no significant impacts. Level 1A, when sometimes you might not plan it, but the tools you are using, they already brought a lot of AI, like, I don't know, your Microsoft Suite, your Google Workspace, or nice and amazing tools we typically are using for video transcript like Phantom or TLDV, and also definitely Copilot and Cursor for development. So basically that's tool that just arrived with certain AI, and we're using it and we are becoming more efficient. So another level 1B is freer commercial usage of ChatGPT or Gemini. So basically that's individual AI adoption, and we are actually doing things we couldn't think about just 2 years ago. However, the main question is that enough? So is it really the maximum that can be achieved from AI, from Gen AI, at current moment of its development? Level 2 is implementation of custom corporate LLM that can actually open the door of next steps that you can move into better automation, like AI agents, AI employees. And finally, you can move to AI orchestration and multi-agent system, where AI agent will be communicating between each other, will be training from the experience, and will fully take certain parts of your tasks, of your jobs or your activities. Level 5 is more theoretical, not possible at this moment. However, the main point is that when I think of AI automation, so I imagine this scary picture of AI robots that can completely take over some part of our task. So if not entire job, so at least some task of tasks can be taken from us biological employees and completely implemented, completely performed by AI robots. And this is actually quite possible. However, if we speak about LLM implementations, some companies may be restricted because of different reasons. So like security concern is one of such reasons why companies may not want to make this next step in implementing LLM. So one of the options to overcome this restriction can be hosting open source models privately. So this is option 3, where you can just take open source LLM and host it completely privately. But a more convenient approach is AI models as a service. So like, for instance, with Azure, organizations can deploy their own OpenAI instance in just a few clicks, keeping LLM within their cloud or Azure environment. I would say that this is the most convenient and the most simple approach of implementing LLM. However, even without deep customization, you can go with so-called prompt-based customization. So this is option 1A that is built on foundation model. And even this approach can still deliver powerful and wonderful results. And I will demonstrate this approach as well later on during this webinar. So let's move on. First of all, let's speak about ideal corporate LLM as a theoretical concept. So there is no theoretical option in making it perfectly smart without loading everything we have in our company. So like company website, internal knowledge base, emails, recorded calls that we can first convert into text. So once we are able to load all this information, theoretically, we should be able to make LLM as smart as all our representatives all together. And once some companies implement this, it already can be exposed through prompt. And actually, that's a big deal. That's already something quite useful that can be used by your employees, authorized employees, I would say. And that's a huge step forward. However, the real value will be achieved once we implement the next step, once we start implementing AI agents responsible for certain activities, and so they will be communicating with corporate LLM and with our corporate ERP through API. And the thing is that although it's quite obvious, but still the advantage of this approach is that value would be generated automatically while we literally do nothing. So basically, AI agents are completely integrated into system, and they are generating some value without even overseeing from biological employees. So in our company, we have implemented a number of such AI agents. As you see, they all start from Leo, as we are Leobit, Leo Slack, Leona, Leora, Leonardo, and many more. But the thing is, this is not a presentation about us. It's a presentation about things that can be implemented in the most efficient and the most productive way. So this is things you can start immediately, and they have the highest return of investment. So for instance, things like AI chatbots, virtual avatar, AI Slack agent. As I spoke with many competitors, with customers, and other people implementing AI chatbot, AI agents, they typically start from similar tools because they're quite straightforward. You can implement them very fast, and they can generate really tremendous value for your organization or for your clients. Let's move on, and I'd like to provide a few examples. So first of all, Leora. Leora is our virtual sales rep, and she knows all our cases, all articles, and all Leobit achievements better than any of our biological sales rep. I hope we have no sales rep from our company at this call. But anyway, it really works, and this is something that can be added really quickly. Another AI agent that we implemented is Leonardo. So this is AI HR agent. Basically, that's a separate LLM that we built once we loaded corporate rules, employee contracts, code of conduct, vacation rules. This AI agent is now the most knowledgeable HR, but we also made the next step. We also added open AI functions, integrating this agent with our ERP system, and when needed, this agent can call our internal functions to get to know additional information that is not available to the LLM. So for instance, I can check what is my current vacation balance, and AI agent would provide the proper answer. Or if I forget who is my manager, I can ask AI, and Leonardo would provide me the answer that I have no direct manager. This is great. And let me provide you one more example that I love the most because of a number of reasons. So first of all, this is the first AI agent that we built 2 years ago. For the second, this is the agent that I built completely on my own as a developer, although I'm not a developer anymore. I'm CEO of the company. And this is quite interesting tool with quite interesting architecture. So first of all, the solution we are trying to solve, this is just auto response to sales form or sales email inquiry that we get. In order to build the system, definitely would need to build the LLM and train it on our data or generate some synthetic data. But the problem is that actually, from one side, we have a big number of data to train the system, because for 10 years we have collected a few thousands of requests and response that could be used. And this is, by the way, a sufficient amount of data. But the thing is that what used to be considered a great response 5 years ago, a year ago, is not a great response anymore, because like we added new service, we changed our strategy. So sometimes even a great response a month ago is not a relevant response anymore. So therefore, we use slightly different approach that I'll present you in a second. But before providing the approach with LLM, let's show the tools that I have chosen. So as a CEO of the company, I wanted to choose the tool that I love and know the most. And definitely this is not Visual Studio. This is something that every manager, director, and I assume every participant of this webinar loves the most. And this is, of course, Google Spreadsheet or Excel, basically almost the same thing. So Google Spreadsheet and ChatGPT were the only two tools that allowed completely to build this fully working auto response agent. And now returning to actually the architecture. So remember I mentioned option 1A with foundation model with prompt-based customization. So this is exactly the approach that has been used here, and the idea is quite straightforward. So instead of building LLM and fine-tuning it, we use basic foundation model like ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever. In this case, it was ChatGPT, basic API. But the request that I'm calling is a huge request consisting of a number of things, like its complete description of Leobit, its description of all cases, all services, some articles, AI category definition, scoring definition, description of response we're expecting, and definitely the request that we just get from the form or from email. So this huge requests we send to foundation model and we get a response. The advantage that we don't even need a fine-tuned model. And the architecture is also quite straightforward. So we have Google Spreadsheets, we have a trigger that is being executed every minute, is checking my email box. Once it finds a new email, it is written to Google Spreadsheets. The same regarding website form submitted, it's written to Google Spreadsheets. Once we have this data, we make this magic call I described you on the previous slides, like entire Leobit description, prompt instructions, and lead request itself. Then we send a response that is actually the most accurate response we could create, because it's built on the data that consists of our case studies, our articles, our service description. So this is the most relevant response that we would be able to provide. And the advantage of this approach and the value of this approach is not just in auto respond, because, well, basically it's a simple thing, but the advantage is that it's workflow automation, and it allows us to use Gen AI as a discriminative AI. So for instance, we are defining a category for each request, we are defining a score. And that is actually a big deal, because like we are getting more than 50 requests every day, but only few of them are really high score requests, and it's very important to focus on the most important inquiries. So basically, we can use AI to define the category and build different workflows for high score leads. So for instance, if this is high score leads, we assign delivery director, we assign our R&D director, and if this is, for instance, UX request, then we assign our head of design office. And this is workflow automation with so basic tools like Google Spreadsheet and ChatGPT. So let me provide you an example how it actually works. So we have sample requests from Pekka, and this is how response would look like. So it consists of template that is specific for the category. So this is category 2. It consists the original request and actually the response that is the most relevant. It could be built by ChatGPT. Initially, we were unsure if people would be happy to speak with artificial intelligence, but it appeared that most of our customers, or maybe all of them, were quite positive. They responded to Leo. Thanks for the prompt reply. But what is the biggest advantage is that in some cases, Leo was able to convince potential customer to schedule a call, and while our sales rep has been sleeping because it was nighttime, the customer scheduled a call on himself because he was convinced by the response provided by Leo. So this means that this small part of sales rep was completely taken and completely handled by AI. I think this is amazing. The ideas for AI agents, they are limitless. However, I would say that definitely conversational AI is something as a top priority to start from, because it's the easiest thing for Gen AI. So for instance, if you're working with contracts, documents, or just any text information like emails, whatever, video transcripts, Gen AI handles this just perfectly. So if you need to implement AI agent, virtual avatar, there are so many solutions how you can do this relatively quickly. You can also do interesting things with workflow automation, but definitely the biggest value can be generated if you define some key piece of your application, and instead of trying to achieve the highest level by Gartner, like complete transformational level, you can define small piece of your customer, let's say customer application, and build AI agent for a particular thing like AI scoring, AI categorization, content creation, matching, recommendation. And that may be a small and fast AI agent, but it can dramatically change your application and put it to completely new level. The thing is that many solutions like I'm describing, like AI HR agent, AI chatbots, corporate LLM, the MVP version can be implemented in just few days. Standard virtual AI avatar, it can be implemented in just few days. So for sales, email, auto response, you don't even need any special tools or super knowledge. So it can be implemented in actually anything like Google spreadsheet. So our full-scale development and deployment took us 3 months, but actually we did a lot of fancy and interesting stuff. For the simple thing, it's just few days. And even your AI agent that you can add to your application, this is something that can be added in just 1 week, at least the simple version. Definitely for some cases that can be years, but again, even a simple version can put your application into absolutely different level. So basically, that's all regarding my parts. This is the last slide of my parts. And I want to make this as a call to action. Again, as you saw during my presentation, many AI agents, many AI transformational things can be implemented very quickly. And the call to action is you have to start implementing AI, you have to start changing your business, you have to bring AI to your applications, and you can do it on your own. So you can implement simple stuff on your own, or you can rely on partners like Leobit. We are happy to consult, we are happy to build certain things to you, but the main message is start adding AI to your company, to your internal processes, and to your customer application, because otherwise you will be left behind and your competitors will definitely be much better with their products. So thank you for your time. Thank you for being during this webinar. I'll be happy to answer the question at the end of the webinar. And now I'm happy to transfer the control to Yurii, our AI superstar and AI R&D Director.
Yeah, thank you, Oleksa, for laying out some business potential and strategic value of building corporate LLMs. Now let's get to some technical side of that things. Today, actually, AI is often seen as some kind of magical black box where you can just throw your request and it will effortlessly for you solves everything you actually wanted. But in reality, it's a bit different. Of course, it's not some mysterious force, but at the same time, it's not a rocket science, as Oleksa has shown. It can be built even with tools you are familiar with, like Google Spreadsheet. So with the right approach, you can automate many tasks and tailor a solution specifically for your needs. My goal for today will be to highlight some insight about building such corporate custom LLM, demystify it probably, and give you some advices how to build one. First of all, a few words about myself. I'm Yurii. I'm about 14 years in IT on different position. Right now, I'm R&D Director at Leobit. I'm PhD in applied math. During my career, I accomplished over 30 AI or machine learning related projects of different complexity. So let's jump into our problem. Essentially, any custom LLM is fundamentally about retrieving the right information to get the answer for your questions. And that's actually the problem which search engines have been solving for decades. So let's look about their evolution history to understand better how LLMs are working nowadays. So everything starts pretty simple with just basic keyword search. You're trying to find some word inside your content. If your document have that specific keyword, you're capable to find that, and that works. It's still using in many areas on your probably listing marketplaces and so on. But it have one problem. Usually when volume of your data are growing exponentially, you are not capable anymore to get relevant information because you put your query and you get 100 results. You need to pick only few of them. So to improve that, in early 2000, Google introduced their Google PageRank algorithm. That's basically an algorithm which allows somehow rank your results. If you have ever tried to improve the SEO of your website, you're probably aware of that, what is Google PageRank. Based on some criteria, it allows you to rank results. But Google doesn't stop on that, so they go further and introduce the knowledge graph. Visually, you can see it as that right panel inside your Google search. For instance, if you Google the Leobit, you're probably able to see some information from the Wikipedia, from the Google Maps, maybe from some social media and so on. Or when you search about some recent sport events like Formula One or maybe some soccer, you will be able to see the result of that, the score of that match immediately. And the idea which stands behind is not only to retrieve the information that is related to your query, but also extend that information with some kind of knowledge graph. So bring more context to the initial query and in that way provide a better search result. But Google doesn't stop on that. So if you was listening to last year Apple WWDC conference or Google I/O conference, so probably you was capable to see the use case where someone asked, "Hey, plan me a holiday vacation for the next holidays," and that AI system, AI agent is capable to that all the concepts that you already provide. Only to plan a vacation, but AI agent is capable to grab information from different sources, from your emails, from your schedules, maybe from your messages, maybe from your notes, and so on and so forth. So it's capable to build pretty good response with some kind of guide, which places you should visit, and so on. And that's actually the technology which can also be built with using the corporate LLM, and we will try to show how to do that. Before that, we need to understand what actually the RAG is, because that technology is called Graph RAG. We need to understand what's the RAG. It's an acronym from the Retrieval Augmented Generation, and it has only two steps. First of all, you need to retrieve some data from any source you can find. It may be some public information, it may be some documents that you have already provided to your agent, it may be some contracts, whatever you find. After you gather all the information, you can push that into any LLM system, and that LLM system is capable to transform that information, to summarize that, and provide the relevant response for you. So it's often used for many agents, conversational AI, and so on. But that's not the only use case. You can build the recommendation systems of top of that, some customer support, and so on. And the main benefit of this approach is that you reduce the hallucination, because your system are not generating just random words anymore. It's using some provided context to do that. And if you have ever tried to use ChatGPT, you definitely was using the RAG, at least since the moment they introduced the ability to browse the web, because when the model was released, it is not capable to get new information anymore. You can do it only by browsing the internet and searching it somewhere. So it's basically the RAG, retrieve some information from web and then provide the result, including that as a context. But what can be more beneficial for your specific cases to improve your processes, to improve your businesses, to implement, automate some tasks, it is to provide not some public available information, but your data. maybe your contracts, maybe your legal information, maybe your case studies, slides, videos, and so on. Let's talk how to do that. So to build your own custom LLM, first of all, you need to start just to gather necessary information about the whole company or about the specific domain you would like to automate. Just gather all information and put it into some storage. We use Azure Blob Storage for that, but you can pick any you actually want. After that, probably you will need to somehow to chunk that information because LLMs doesn't work good with the big volume of data. They lose the context. Often it's not so good. So better to chunk that into pieces. Usually a few hundred words per chunk is pretty enough. After that, you can use some magic algorithm, which is called embedding model. And actually what it does, it is able to convert the text into vectors. And for now, we just store that vectors in some vector store. Today, there are different options to do that. For instance, quite popular is PostgreSQL with their vector storage, or Cosmos DB. We are using one for our agents usually. But actually, there are plenty of technologies that allow you to do that. That was the preparation step. Now, how the retrieval works. Some user come to your website or to your agent, whatever, and provide a prompt. Actually, it's not necessary to be a text prompt. It can be the voice, which can later be converted into text. And that prompt, you put the same way you do that on the previous step into that embedding model, and you get the vector. And what is the beauty about the vectors? Because it's numbers. It's actual numbers in multidimensional spaces. And what we can do with numbers, we can do math. We can add numbers, subtract numbers. We can measure the distance between numbers. And that's exactly what we actually do in that specific case. We have our vector storage where we have already put some information in vector format. And we have a vector that represents our new common inquiry. We are capable just to find, for instance, 5 closest vectors to that specific one. And after that, we can convert that vectors back to the text. And that is the context of our inquiry. We have that context, we have the initial prompt, we ask LLM to summarize all that information and get quite relevant response to our initial request. But from the beginning, this approach might not be so accurate. So usually it covers about 80% of your use cases, at least that was in our case. And after that, we think, what if we need to improve that? What if we need the better accuracy? What are approaches to do that? There are actually plenty of that, but we will cover only a few of them. First of all, it's the graph rack. It's that one that was introduced by Google and Apple and many big companies. It's about 2 parts. It's a regular rack, which just retrieves some information and gives it to LLM, and it have a graph part. Basically, it means that somewhere in the retrieval process, you should use the graphs. There are different ways to do that. The one we was using is just to enrich the information that come from our retrieval process that, for instance, 5 most relevant documents, we enriched them with extra information. The same way the Google was doing that with their knowledge graph. They was extended that with Wikipedia, Google Maps, and so on, and we are enriching that information with some of our corporate information. And that actually works great. So we get more accurate result, better result, more relevant results. One more benefit about using GraphRack system is in observability, because on the right side, you can see that vector storage. And that's actually how usually vectors looks inside that storage. Actually, usually they are even bigger. Here we have about 10 numbers or maybe 20 numbers. Usually that's about 1,000 of numbers. And you cannot distinguish which one is about cooking the apple pie and which one of this vector is about the buying oranges in the nearest marketplace. On the left side, we actually have that graph rack approach, which still have that vectors inside of each node. But now we can see the connections. We can see, okay, that recipe is related to the pie. We can even troubleshoot and debug our model. We can see that for certain requests, our model are not providing the result which we actually wanted. And we can manually tweak that. We can build extra connection between nodes. We can remove some connections and so on. And by that approach, we can improve the accuracy of our system. Many scientific institutions, including Microsoft Research Center and universities, are actually studying this approach and measuring how good it is. Here are some examples of that studies. On the left side, we have pretty simple tasks where you have only one source of truth, for instance, one document, and you are asking only one question to that specific model. And even on that, GraphRag is better than the regular one. On the right side, you have another way, more complex tasks, where the information should be ground out of many documents, the aggregation. And actually, you see that regular RAG is not capable to do aggregation. It's actually because idea that stands behind of its implementation. When you find the most relevant document, all other documents is invisible for your LLM. So it's blind to all information that was not retrieved by that specific algorithm. But with the GraphRag, even you find at least one piece of information, Graph probably will have the connection to all related information and actually are capable to do different kind of aggregations. So that's one of the approaches that you can implement aggregation on top of your RAG system. That was about the GraphRag. The next way to improve your RAG system is to improve the retrieval process. There are also many ways to do that. For instance, you can rephrase the initial query, because for each type of query, you probably will find a slightly different result. And if you want to get the richer context for your LLM, probably you want to rephrase that initial query. The one of the approaches that we used, we do that multi-hop retrieval. So we search 5 most relevant documents, for instance. Then for each of that 5, we search even 5 more, and so on. And some stage we got enough context to provide for the LLM, and we stop the process. In that way, the context is richer, and usually the results are more accurate. One more way is to build some kind of agentic retrieval. Very simple idea, divide and conquer. So you, instead of building one complex agent, you are building multiple simple agents. One is capable, for instance, to browse the internet or to scrape LinkedIn, or one of them are capable to parse tables. One of them are capable to browse your emails. And then you bring everything together, give to LLM, and you got pretty good response. One more way is to fine tune. Actually, it's a pretty good way, but usually it's not used so often because it's quite expensive to learn your models. But it has some benefits. For instance, if you have no stable connection to your external data sources, by fine tuning, you can bake in all information into the LLM, and you will get the lower latency. For instance, even the retrieval is pretty quick, usually under 1 second. The ability to bake information in provide you ability for more use cases. For instance, for real-time speech where the latency is critical. Or maybe you want to tune your model for the specific wording, or to know some specific definition from your domain. Maybe it's legal domain, engineering domain, whatever. By fine-tuning, you actually can improve that score, their performance. And last, but probably not the least, is the golden rule of machine learning is garbage in, garbage out. So you should not train your models on top of bad data. You should train them on top of good data. How to start with that? It's pretty easy. You can remove some outdated information that is not relevant anymore. You can structure your information. You can remove some redundancy to not have a junk inside of your information. You can validate your data and so on. If you have many tables, you can actually convert the tables into the text, because when LLM do it by yourself, you have pretty junk, because you cannot understand which row to which column. You need to convert in some smarter way for later stages. So LLM is capable to work with that. And the beauty about any of this approach is that none of them are limiting to use another one. That's actually how we started to build our AI sales rep, Leora. We started with pretty simple RAG POC for a few days, and then started to improving that with different approaches. So we improved data, we improved the retrieval process itself. We was ranking that retrieval. We fine-tune our model, and the latest upgrade we provided was building the graph RAG. So it's not essentially to use all of them. You can pick only a few that works better for you, or just do not use any of them if the pure RAG system works well for you. One more thing we need to cover is how to ensure that our system behaves the way we actually expect it. With traditional system, it's pretty easy. We write tests. We have some sample inputs. We have expected outputs. We just compare them, and we get some score. With the LLM system, it's quite hard to do that because they are not deterministic. So we do not, even by providing the same input, each time we can get different output. So how to build a testing system? First of all, you need to collect some feedback. You need to understand what cases was good one and what was bad one. You can do that just by providing some like-dislike system for your users. Then you need to collect operational information about your custom LLM. You need to collect what was the input for the model, what was the output of the model, what was the context based on which model provide the specific output. Maybe you want to provide even the expected outputs. Then you decompose your model. It's hard to test something that is big and chunky. Always better to decompose that and test separately. Test separate your retrieval system, test separately your ranking system. Even the retrieval system is multi-stage. Test separately each stage, and by improving each of them, you will improve the whole score of the system. And then even after you collected everything of that, tested everything of that, probably you want to have some scoring of the whole LLM system. There are different ways to do that. Usually self-evaluation is used. For instance, the model is testing their outputs by itself, or you can build a separate LLM. Usually it's called a small language model, which is capable only to test the result of another model. Or you can use some human evaluation where the human will check the style, the wording, the tone, the intent, and so on, and give some score. And one more thing we need to cover, when we talk about AI, we usually talk in separation of our existing software. But the beauty of custom LLMs and RAGs in that they all support HTTP API. So on top of that, you can build probably almost any system, and you can incorporate that custom LLM into software you are already using today. So as you was able to see, you can even incorporate that into Google Spreadsheets. Actually, GenAI provided to us an ability to change communication interface. For instance, we have text-to-speech, we have speech-to-text, we have video transcribing, we have images captioning, and so on, OCR and many others. So basically, you can turn any type of media into text. And after that, you can, LLMs works pretty well with the text. So you can provide the text into LLM, and it will give you pretty relevant and good results. So you can build pretty easy some kind of virtual assistant on top of that track with your custom UI, with your custom chat, virtual avatar, or whatever. You can build something like we did with our corporate messenger. We added some Azure functions, and now when you write to that Slack bot, it's forwarding the request to our backend and instantly get the response from that. And our employees are capable to use AI inside of Messenger they are using daily. or you can enhance your search on your website. For instance, there is the case where there was a multi-language website in German and English, and you need to have capability to search in English but see a German result. With regular search approaches, you cannot do that. But with vector search and track, you're capable to do that. Or you can even change the interface of interaction. Instead of clicking the filters and sorting the results, you can just ask, hey, please find me the monitor that is 4K resolution and under $1,000. And AI will be capable to break down your query into necessary filters and put that filters instead of you or your user. Or you even can build some kind of reporting system, enhance your existing reporting system with AI capabilities with these custom LLMs. So as you can see, all this technology is actually not rocket science. That is something that you can start work with even today. And if you was waiting for some sign to start work with AI, hopefully this webinar will be one for you. That's it actually from my side, and probably you will have some questions.
Thank you, Yurii. Thank you, Oleksa. I just would like to remind to our participants that we have a chat window in the bottom panel of the Zoom. So please feel free to ask your questions in the chat. Now we are moving to Q&A session. So we are waiting for your questions. And while you are writing your questions in chat, I see that Jacob has a raised hand. So Jacob, please feel free, unmute yourself and ask if you would like.
Maybe that was unintentional. So Irana,
Okay.
go on with questions from the chat.
So let's move with questions from our chat. So we have a question from Theo. I believe it's for Yurii. Is this GraphRag an open AI technology, or it can use it with different LLM, not ChatGPT?
Yes, thank you for the question. Actually, it's not even a technology, it's just an approach. And all modern LLMs are supporting that. So any LLM can be extended with extra source of information, including Llama, Mistral, GPT, and so on, and even DeepSeek that was released in the early days. So it's not a GPT technology, you can use it whatever you want.
Okay, great. Thank you, Yurii. We have another question from Sophia. How to ensure data security for LLM?
All right. Let me start with answering this question, and maybe Yurii will continue. So definitely, data security is a huge and important concern. However, again, depending on the data that you have, depending on restrictions and regulations, in most cases, the OpenAI model as a service in clouds would be sufficient security trade-off for you. However, if that's not enough, you can always run privately hosted open source AI model. This is not that convenient, but this case, you ensure that your data would not go outside of your infrastructure. So you have many options, and there is no restrictions why you can't implement LLM in the way that would ensure the proper level of security.
Yeah, well, I'd add to that you actually not you need to ensure the security not only of your data, which you put into LLM, but also if you use some sensitive information for that, you need to ensure that users of your LLM have access to that information. So to ensure that trainees that come 2 days ago into your company are not capable to run some query and say, hey, give me the financial reports for the last year. That is something that also need to be in the back of your mind.
Great, thank you. We also have another question from Tony. Is it already time for locally run models? There is a performance penalty, but you get rid of all the data security concerns.
Yeah, it's
Again,
actually go ahead.
Okay, so sorry. So again, it's a similar question. So in my opinion, running it privately has actually just some extra issues that you spend on the infrastructure and inconvenience in handling the environment. So this is the only actually thing that you have to bear in mind. If you don't have the strict restriction on the security or strict concern, going with LLM as a service or with a foundation model is just easier. So it's easier to get started. But at the same time, if it's required, then you can run it locally. It's just a question of limitations for your particular company.
Yeah, I agree with Oleksa. So probably if you work in healthcare and you need to be sure that not any information leaks somewhere because it's sensitive, you need to anonymize the data and so on, probably it's better option to go with the local one. But in case it's actually doesn't matter so much, it's much easier to use the cloud managed system and doesn't care about the infrastructure scaling and concurrency.
Great. We have another question. Do I need a technical team to use a corporate LLM?
Let me take this one. So as I actually shown during my part, with some approaches, you don't even need fine-tuned LLM, and this way you definitely not need a technical team. But it's also a question how technical you are. So like if you know some basics, like if you understand some technology principles, then most of the times you would be able to handle it on your own. If not, then you can work with your IT department or a company that can handle that. But in addition to that, I would say that there are a number of ready solutions that just work as wrapper around OpenAI, or you can use even OpenAI in its nutshell and just upload your data there. It's not that flexible as you using Azure OpenAI. So Azure is a bit more complex. So for instance, for me, that would be more difficult to set up Azure OpenAI, but setting up just OpenAI would be quite easy. So it depends, but in most cases that can be handled without tech team.
Great, thank you very much. Another question we have from Paul. Thanks for the information. 2 questions. When you said MVP can be implemented in a few days, is that a set of present features, or how is MVP defined? And the second is more organizational question. Will this slide be shared? We have this webinar as a recorded, and we'll share this information with you a few days after the webinar. Now, Oleksa, maybe you can address a question about MVP.
Yeah, it seems it was regarding my part. So, Paul, thank you for this question. So we based our information on our experience of developing with certain tools. So, for instance, the email auto response has been developed by myself in less than 1 week. So when I say MVP, I mean that was fully functional product that was able that we could be able to deploy to production. So same regarding other things like AI chatbots, AI virtual assistants. So there are a number of ready solutions in Azure, particularly in Azure, that would be able to handle a lot of the standard stuff. However, in most cases, you would want some customization for yourself. So like extra logic, extra workflow, or UI tweaks, and it's difficult to define. My message is that MVP, the working product that you can start using, like AI chatbot or email auto-response, this is things that can be implemented in less than 1 week.
Great. Thank you very much, Oleksa, Yurii, and to all our participants. We hope the webinar was useful for you and you got some insights. We are happy, always happy to connect with you. Here you have some our contacts. So please feel free to get back to us with more questions if you have them. And see you at the next Leobit webinars. Have a great rest of the day.